Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Fic Fiction, a magical bookish podcast for chaotic story goblins like us. We're your hosts, Crimson,
Molly, and Emmy.
What?
Emmy.
She's been reborn.
I detect there's been a change over there. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Emmy?
Yeah. So I thought now that I am posting a little bit more on the internet, whether that is also with YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and even the podcast, that I would like to separate my real life and my online life because it just seemed right. It is my middle name. My middle name is Emily. So Emmy is the new vibe. So
She has risen from the ashes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm loving it.
thanks.
Cool. So, we will call you Emmy from now on. Excited to have you. New version of yourself.
We're so proud of you for, sharing this with us and coming to this decision. You're so brave.
So brave.
It just it reminds me of that Taylor Swift quote. It's like, Ali can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead.
Love it.
Rest
Love
in
it.
peace, my old online name. You will be missed.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. me.
R.I.P..
I died.
Funerals
dead.
on Friday.
Nice. Okay, well, this week, on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the unhinged Christmas read we did together, Dear Monster Claus by Maeve Black. However, before we get started, we have a little journey to share with you because actually, fun fact, the first choice for our unhinged Christmas read was a dark romance called Sacked and Slayed by Aurelia Knight. But this was tabled after a bit of an incident. Emmy actually read this book before Molly and I had the chance. So, Emmy, would you like to share about your experiment?
Can we also point out that there's a theme going ahead and reading books ahead of the us?
Yeah. It's true. I noticed that.
I just love to be ahead, guys. I just love to be in the lead. Clearly, I'm just competitive.
Yeah, notice how I said I'm going to start Love Light Farms this week, and Ali was like, oh, I already read that.
Excellent. Give me 10 more.
I read that last week. Get with it. Yeah.
For real.
Do you know what the most ironic thing about this and the thing about this situation is that I am not a dark romance reader. I would not class myself as even a smutty book reader. It's just not what I gravitate towards. I don't read a lot of it. I mean, the spiciest I get is Xaden from Fourth Wing, guys. That's not she's not a spicy gal. So
right.
The fact that I ended up being the guinea pig for this dark romance Christmas novella is hilarious. So anyway, I was traumatized by this book. I didn't read any of the trigger warnings, and I probably should have. My fiance ended up having to hold me for a while after I finished this book. And I don't know how to explain it without giving away spoilers, but it was just...
Always read the menu. Always read the menu.
Yes.
I didn't read the menu, and I didn't like the food.
So I'm not going to lie, I haven't read the book yet, but I have read the menu. And when I read the menu, I actually was somewhat surprised that you guys wanted to read this one.
I didn't know what it was when
but
we
I was
suggested it.
I'm down.
I had no idea what this book was. And do you know what? At the start, I was like, ooh, a little stalker vibe. Ooh, she's never met him in real life. Ooh, dead bodies.
And that's where the shoe drops.
And I read the whole thing. I was traumatized 30% in, and I was like, well, I've got to continue now. There's only 50 pages left. I'm gonna commit. I committed.
Yeah.
And I'm a changed woman.
I'm sorry about that.
She committed, but she wished she hadn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regrets.
I'm just a bit...
Mistakes were made.
I'm just a bit frightened.
Yeah, so for our listeners, basically from my perspective, and I assume Molly's perspective, we had it on our list, but we hadn't gotten to it yet, and we just knew we needed to do it before filming this episode. And then suddenly Emmy is in our Discord going,
Don't do it!
I am traumatized. Don't do it. Proceed with caution.
To be fair, though, like the book that we're going to talk about that we did read,
She also had that vibe, but
yeah, like I wasn't
Right.
traumatized. I wasn't traumatized at all, thankfully. Like it was not a traumatizing read. But part of me is like, Crimson, you should probably read Section Slide because
Yeah. I think I'm going to, because actually you guys are not the only friends I had who had decided to read it, and I have another really good friend, shout out to M, who also read the whole thing and was like, I don't know what the hell I just read. That's crazy thing that just happened. I regret reading it. She said the same thing. So now I'm really interested, because she's not that much of a dark romance person either. She falls way more into like the monster reading category.
hey.
So now I'm interested in like will I have fun, or will I be like, this is a shade too dark for me?
I
See-
felt
We'll see.
so nauseous.
See, that just
Yeah.
makes me want to know what's up. Like,
Yeah, like it's that fanfic dead dove girly in me. Like I can't look away from a train wreck.
I'm actually scared and feel a bit sick to my stomach. Like even just thinking about it. And like part of me was like, I understand why maybe dark romance girlies would like this. I am not a dark
Yeah.
romance reader.
yeah.
I like a wee bit of tension, a wee bit of make out, a wee bit of kiss, not a severed heads and murder and sex at the same time.
I feel like we
Sorry,
need to
we have
make a
expertise.
remix of Mambo number 5 for that list that you just gave.
For real.
One,
Exactly.
2, 3, 4, 5. I read this book and I'm traumatized. But like,
So yeah, after seeing Emmy's reaction, we decided that we would go a different direction for the official Fic Fiction Christmas read this year. We wanted to do something a little unhinged though, so we went with something that I had actually already read before, called Dear Monster Claus.
Molly's got thoughts.
I have many thoughts. So, for everyone that is listening and doesn't know what this thing is, Dear Monster Claus follows Zoe, I believe, and she is a Cupid. And for her entire life, her and her siblings have just made sure that everybody else in the universe have love and happiness and have their happily ever after. But that isn't something she's allowed. For some reason, she is not allowed to fall in love. She's not allowed to establish relationships, like long-term lasting relationships. And it's all she wants. She wants love, she wants romance, she wants a happy ending. Naturally, she's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to defy my family. I'm going to say, screw it to the rules, to fate. I am going to find my happily ever after. So she decides to write a letter to Santa. Now, she doesn't know if Santa is real, but her logic is, I'm real, so Santa will be real, right? So she goes to the mall and she's like, I will go sit on this strange man's lap and tell him what I want for Christmas. Now, naturally, this strange man at the mall is a mall Santa, probably doesn't get paid more than $12 an hour, and thinks she's an absolute whack job. And tells her
She kind of is.
she is. Tells her to fuck off. So she does, and she decides, okay, so that didn't work. I will just write to him. So on her pretty pink stationery that is just exudes marshmallows and rainbows and unicorns, she writes a series of letters to Santa. And she continues to write to him because she doesn't get an answer. Now, instead of thinking, oh, maybe he's too busy, or oh, he must not be real, she's like, nah, he's ignoring me, so I'll just keep writing letters to him. And it turns out he is, but it's not jolly old Saint Nick. No, it's like 2015 era emo style dragon shit bloke dude that is entirely red and has an attitude problem and obviously hates Christmas, who decides when he opens her letter that, you know, she can help him find the true meaning of Christmas, and decides let's fucking go, and turns up to fuck shit up. But yeah, that is the summary. Now, actual thoughts.
Well, I think one thing is slightly missing, which is when he turns up, they make a deal, which is she's
Indeed.
going to teach him all the things about Christmas that people like making cookies and going to like markets and stuff like that. And he is going to teach her like
Sex.
like things sex, because she really wants to experience these things. She's never kissed anybody, and he says that he will definitely through his magic be able to find her soulmate, but that he's also like crazy attracted to her, so he's like, well, also I can teach her this other thing too.
She smells
And,
like candy canes, so he wants to bone her.
Yeah, well, she smells like cookies. She's cookies. And he but she keeps giving him peppermint hot chocolate, which turns him on because, spoiler alert, his excrement also tastes like, not excrement, his seed, his juices are
baby gravy.
are candy cane flavored.
Why did I read
the baby
this?
gravy? I mean, I loved it, so I don't know what the problem is.
No,
do you know what? Straight off the bat, I thought it was cute. I was like, oh my god, I felt so bad for her going to the mall Santa, and the mall Santa being like, what are you?
Psych
Weird.
patient.
Like, what's going on? But then what really threw me is how quick the story developed. Like, his whole like opening is him sitting in like, I don't know, like an office or his workshop or wherever he is, opening the letters or trying to open the letters, but he can't really be arsed because he's not really interested.
I fucking hate Christmas.
And he opens her letter. Yeah, he opens her letter and is like, she'd be a good shag. Like,
yeah.
Where did that come from? She's like, well, I'm heartbroken. I want my true love. I'm so sad. And he's like, yeah, I tap that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the nature of these like silly insta love novellas, though. Like just the instant you know, it's magic.
He needed to touch some grass, not some ass.
Together.
Like, seriously.
Well, you know, touching the ass worked out pretty well for him. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a 40,000 word novella. Like, for fanfic girlies, that's an afternoon, right? Doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
But,
no.
Like, I can't remember where I was going with that.
40,000?
40,000?
Yeah, it's short. It's really short.
Where was I going?
Home.
I don't know. To the South Pole, because the North Pole is not your cup of tea right now.
I fucking love the North Pole. Give me actual Santa any day, but this guy, bro.
I think I'm a sucker for like a grumpy guy
with
like in spite of himself.
I love Grumpy.
Yeah, I mean, the wings don't hurt.
I love Grumpy. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love Grumpy, but
what? There's Grumpy, and then there's like an attitude problem.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I'm an emo girly. I like an attitude
problem. It's hard I think, to talk about, I suppose, because we've all got such differing opinions on this book.
But I think that's okay. I actually find it so fascinating that that you guys had this experience, because the reason I picked it is because I read it with a book club last year and we all just like ate it up, and we're not all monster girlies or insta love novella girlies. So I was like, oh, this is a safe bet. I
actually was having a really nice time at the start. I had a really nice time. I was telling this to Molly earlier, that I had a really nice time just kind of like finding out about like the characters and like their fantasy like beings and the differences and who existed and what sort of creatures existed. I had a really interesting time of them, like once I got over like the horny letter moment, of them like meeting up for the first time and him being like, wow, she's so beautiful, like I want her to be mine, and she's like, will you help me? And he's like, yes. And then they start like doing little Christmas bits, and their first kiss was really nice. And like then at about 65% I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was time for the real smut.
Yeah.
So I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Given our past reading history, for the listeners who haven't read this book, this is a spoiler, but Santa Claus's penis is red and white striped, and he can make it curve. It's not naturally that way, but he can magically make it into a candy cane. And so my question, yeah, it's a really nice party trick, I think.
Some trick.
You wouldn't whack
So
it out
do
at
we
grandma's house.
prefer- Well, he might. I don't know. So do we prefer marshmallow men or candy cane penises? Is the real question.
Neither. I am a homosexual, guys. None of this interested me.
I mean, does the said candy cane have to be attached to the person it's attached to?
Well, let's assume, because he has brothers, right?
Are they all like
let's
him?
assume. No, I don't think so. Let's assume. I think his brother Pyro is nicer. I actually think that there's might be a book about him because she has other books.
Yeah.
So, and there is actually a sequel teased in this book. So maybe it's a nicer guy who looks similar but has less of an attitude issue and maybe less of a fetish for Christmas trees.
Then probably
Don't
the
start
candy
that Christmas tree.
Probably the candy canes, but like at the same time, I'd have to say I'd probably be with Ali there. Like, nah. I don't think my heart could take it.
I actually think the candy cane is nice because it's supposed to taste nice. So,
see,
I mean, yeah, that's a bonus.
The curving kind of is what gives me the ick.
It's giving me fishhook vibes.
A little bit. I mean, that can't be comfortable. I know it's like hooked for your pleasure, but just thinking like logistically, like that can't be comfortable.
I do think they made it too big. They said, unless her hands are just, I mean, I have pretty small hands, but I think they said they couldn't touch each other. So that's pretty, I mean, like just visualizing that's
not a candy cane, that's a candy staff.
Yeah, it's more like you know, an olive oil bottle. So I'm not really.
What a comparison.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just learn from this experience. I think that you guys are not fans of the weird.
Oh no! Oh wait, no. Don't put me in that corner. But it's.
Never mind. I'm so sorry.
I think
apologies. I forgot your penchant for alien romances. I forgot.
I think it's just. I mean, it's been the two, so it must be anything that is, you know, of the sweet variety. But that also begs the same question of when we were reading Meeting with Mallows: is it actually sugar? In which case, UTI Central.
So I think in Meeting with Mallows it was. I think in this one it's not that kind of magic. It's flavored that way, but it's not going to give you. And also she's magic. So like I would just assume that because she's basically a sugar cookie that we're all pH compatible and it's fine.
Do you know, I never thought I'd be having these discussions with anyone.
No.
This is the height of literary analysis.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Speaking of literary analysis, I highlighted some passages, one of which is actually in line with what we're discussing here. So on chapter 10 on page 56, he's talking about said appendage and saying that Peppermint flavors mean something different. To me, it's a kink. All things candy cane taste like me, and that shit turns me on.
Yeah.
No.
It just it's so he likes candy cane because it reminds him of him, and that makes him horny.
Talk about self-obsessed.
Molly thinks that there's a reason he talks in the third person.
Does she?
Emmy's concerned.
Not
You know,
one eyelid was battered there.
I feel like I don't want to say skipped a lot of this, but I feel like after the first reading incident, I feel like I have blanked out some things. I feel like both of the books that I have been forced to read have traumatized me in two very different ways and made me realize that I think I'm just going to stick to my little romance books by Elsie Silver and not read one of these ever again.
Yeah, I think what I have learned for you, Emmy, is maybe if I suggest smutty novellas in the future, that we pick a more
Tame.
normal variety. Yeah. Like maybe some good old fashioned like vanilla stuff.
Like, this is the thing, it's like I'm
But
not shaming anyone.
not
like,
tasted.
No, of course not. Yeah. No. Yeah. Just like I don't want to only traumatize you with the reads.
I don't mind like a mild bit of spice. Like obviously, like I
Yeah, of
don't
course.
mind when books have like smutty scenes. Like that's sometimes depending on my mood though, I skip them. I just read over because I'm more of a plot girl myself. I love the build up to
Yeah.
a romance and I love like the build up to a kiss more than I love like them getting down and dirty because I'm like, ugh, boring. Where's the rest of the plot? And like
Boring.
yeah, I'm just like, no, can't be
Wow.
arsed. Don't want to deal with that right now. Thanks. Moving on.
Huh.
And I do skip
Wild.
sex scenes in books sometimes if I just can't be bothered reading it. Maybe that's why I like get through Elsie Silver's books so fast. It's because they're like sex, and I'm like 6 pages later.
No thanks.
Depends on my mood.
I get like very annoyed when there's not enough of it.
We are two very different people. Maybe
Yeah.
this is why I love Throne of Glass so much.
Oh, see, that's interesting because one of my biggest pet peeves with the community is that people will say about Throne of Glass, like, no, like you don't understand, just read it. It doesn't even need the smut. And actually, I truly think, like, barring the fact that it was written as YA, like, because she originally didn't want to write it as YA, she originally wanted to write it as a new adult. So, like, considering that, I actually think the story would be so much better with like an ACOTAR level of smut. Like,
I feel like yeah, but this is the thing as well. It's like ACOTAR level of smut is about as smutty as I think I'd get, like me as a person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not groundbreaking. I mean, it's the same with like Elsie Silver's
sure.
books, with Fourth Wing, even with Ali Hazelwood's books. Like, the spice is there, but it's not spicy. And I feel like that's me as a person. I feel like anything more than that, I'm a wee bit like, yeah, tap out.
Before we get further into the smut, what did we think about his nickname for her? He calls
Joyful.
He calls her Joyful.
That was quite cute to an extent, I think.
I feel like it was cute, maybe like the first couple of times. But it felt like it was on every page and it got just a little bit much. So
yeah, I do feel that it was a little, like when I'm talking, I find this in a lot of books actually. When I'm talking to my husband, I don't call him by a name every 2 seconds, like we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
So I do find that a little unnatural sometimes. I know that it often happens in books that have like a lot of characters in a scene, like just so it's very clear who's talking to who, but like I agree. I think while I really enjoyed this book, as I said to you, I did not promise amazing writing. I would say the writing is sort of like mid-tier for like this kind of book.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the name particularly just doesn't fit well in any like context of any sentence. So I've got like a couple of, like I said, I've been highlighting, but one of them is, does my joyful need praise?
No.
So without the context of the name, I will say the sentence itself I love. But yeah, I don't like that the name, like, I think it's cute, but I don't love that it's an adjective, I think. It makes it feel strange because it grammatically doesn't work. Like, you know, like most of the time I think names are either a name or they're nouns, right? Or if they're an adjective, they're not like an FUL, they're like a Y. And so it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't, because there aren't really names that have an FUL. So whereas like if you're going to use an adjective and you do one with a Y, it's like at least there's a lot of names with that sound at the end of it. So it sounds more name-like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love it. But I do think it's cute and appropriate to the story.
Is it?
Yeah, because she's really joyful.
So she is. To be fair, I really liked her. I thought she was so sweet and cute. And
yeah,
he scares me. But I like the idea of him. See, when she's talking about his description about how attractive he is, I was like, yeah, I can get into that. And then whenever they got into that, I was like, I don't think I like this part.
I feel like Ali would have enjoyed this book far more if it was sapphic.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you think? And I also think it would probably work slightly better if it had been sapphic.
I'm actually with that. I think that
yeah, I think I'm with this.
I think especially with the extra, like I did feel that the tying her up to look like a Christmas tree was a little like 0 to 60. Like,
we need to get I have thoughts on this section of the book. This is the section of the book where I tapped out. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah. So it does like the idea does escalate quite quickly.
Yeah. This is the thing.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's reading, like, spoilers if you want to skip ahead, he basically, like, in the nicest terms, makes her put her legs in the air and like dresses her up like a Christmas tree, right? And I was like, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's festive, you know, festive activity, whatever. Like, I personally would not. However, I can see the way people would enjoy that, whatever, it's fine. What really sent me, and I made Alex read this poor man had to read this page, was when he started talking about himself in third person. And I quote, Santa wants to fuck his tree. Absolutely not. No.
I liked that bit.
No. If he'd have been like, you look really attractive, you look so festive, I want to have sex with you. Fair enough. It was the third, it was giving like
he is Santa. Like,
it felt like a very poorly executed way of saying, I want to climb you like a tree, you know?
Do you know what it was giving? Have you guys ever seen that video of the guy? The really old video. I haven't sent you if you haven't seen it. And he spins around in his desk chair and he's like, hey, baby girl. That's the vibe I got from this. Have you never seen this? Crimson, I need to send you this video and you need to watch the whole thing.
No. I'm okay. Like, if he had used his name, that would be really weird. But like, because he is Santa and she didn't believe in Santa at the beginning, or she didn't know if Santa was real at the beginning, and he's like proving to her, like, yeah, Santa's real and here's his candy cane, whatever. Like, I was like into it. Like, I mean, not so much the tree part. Like, I actually like really just sort of disconnected from the tree and just pretended in my head that wasn't she wasn't like, I actually was okay with her dressing like a tree. It was more like I didn't like the legs tied up in the air. Like, that's not for me.
Honeybun was a
I was
Pins
just
and
virgin.
thinking about
needles
how
are coming.
uncomfortable that would be.
Honeybun was
Yeah.
a virgin like 4 days ago, and he's like whipped out the tinsel and festive light shibari bondage bullshit.
That's what I'm saying, is it's like they were practicing kissing and like him, you know, like fooling around like teenagers, and then suddenly it's like full on shibari. Like that's a little much.
Yeah,
in
I
my
didn't
opinion.
mind the
Let me
Christmas
truss
tree
you up
part.
like a Thanksgiving turkey. No.
Right.
Get like
right.
ease her into this.
Yeah, but the speaking of himself as Santa was totally fine for me. I didn't mind.
No, I can't deal with people who talk about themselves in the third person. Like, I don't mind it in some aspects.
No,
But see when
well,
it's like in the
but it's
bedroom.
the same thing as a daddy kink. It's like the exact same thing as calling yourself daddy. Like, so it's like,
That's another thing.
mean,
It's like, I don't like when people call themselves daddy. I could be like,
oh,
I could call you that. I mean, I wouldn't personally, but you know, we all know how my spice level is right now. So,
right.
but like, I understand. I could get it. I understand it, but not from a third person perspective. It made me feel
Fair
a
enough.
bit nauseous. If Alex turned around to me and was like, Alex wants to have sex with his whatever, I'd be like, absolutely not. Do you know what we are getting, sir?
Okay, wait. Just to be fair though, like we can't say like he just turns to you, because like she was already like hot and ready to go. Like she's already in the headspace is the thing. Like you can't do that just like
I'd be out of that
sitting.
headspace very fast.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. Like if my husband was dressed up as Santa Claus and then we were making out and then this happened, I'd be like, okay, let's go. Like I'd be fine.
Take notes, Mr.
So,
Crimson.
No.
yeah. I mean, he's in the next room. Maybe he is. I don't know.
Crimson Claus in the next room.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Hell.
But also, I'm a human who like owns a Mrs. Claus like lingerie store.
Slay.
So
Slay.
Slay.
See,
I just think Christmas is a fun time to be spicy.
I don't want it to come across like I'm just like shitting on this book, because like Ali said, like for a good majority of it, I was having like the best time. It was giving festive vibes. Like they were building gingerbread houses, and she was putting up a Christmas tree, and you know they went to put a Christmas like ornaments on like the main tree in town. It was so cute, and there's some iconic lines.
Yeah.
Like some of the
I
lines
did
in this
like-
book are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the bit whenever they went to the town hall or wherever they were, like the square, and they were putting the baubles on the Christmas tree, and she gets handed a green one, and she just turns to him, almost like about to ask him, can I have your pink bauble and you can swap for my green one? And he immediately was like, here, you take this one, because like I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like I understand like why people enjoy it, and it was like up until the point where I was like, I think I've personally had enough. I was kind of enjoying the vibes, like, and I understand like from Crimson's perspective specifically, like if you're into that kind of thing, then I understand why you enjoyed it and why it was such a fun time read. I think just for me personally, I have now learned that I am maybe vanilla spice with, or maybe we could like shove a couple sprinkles on the top, but that's about it for me.
You're like a
I totally get
you're
it.
like a vanilla chai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Aw.
That's adorable.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that.
So there was one line that had me dying. Okay, like in a good way.
God. Yeah.
So
Okay.
she'll be descriptive with what she wants, and I swear I'll kneel at her fucking altar as she pleads for it.
Yes. I love that line. So great.
It's like, why can't you just embody that energy all the time?
Yeah. Yeah. That's cute. When he's being cute, he's being really cute, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then there's the other times.
I mean, I'm sorry that you guys ended up like not loving it by the end, or like not loving the spice at least, but I am actually kind of glad, because imagine if we all like just were like 5 stars, perfect read, nothing to talk about.
Life would be a bit boring, really.
What was your
Yeah, yeah.
so this is interesting actually now that you said that. What is your star rating for this? I'm going 2 stars, mainly because I
Mm.
was kind of happy with how things were going up until like the actual smut started coming in. Until then I was
Mhm.
like, I love a grumpy, angry man. And I love like the
Yeah.
the I don't know, you know what I mean? Like the kissing and
Mhm.
the cutesy stuff and building things and being nice and whatever. Breaking through the ice of his soul. I don't know. And then everything else happened and I was like immediately absolutely not. Not for me. But not bad, just not for me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Molly, you go
I
first.
gave it 3.
Okay.
3 stars.
For me it's 4, I think, because I had a great time. But I wouldn't give it 5. Like, I would say there are parts of the writing that feel a little clunky to me, like
Yeah.
it could have done with like a little bit more editing.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't actually love the being trussed up situation. So like luckily for anyone going into it who otherwise thinks it sounds good, that part, like, it makes a lot of it for like a couple paragraphs, and then like you kind of forget, like she kind of doesn't mention it anymore, and it kind of logistically doesn't really make sense
Yeah.
because she seems perfectly mobile during the whole thing. um but yeah, like I think it's not a perfect read, but if you're a girly who likes monster stuff and is fine to just like suspend belief or like ignore a couple little things, then it's a fun time for me.
Definitely. I think as you said, my biggest gripe was the writing, and it
Mhm.
did kind of take me out of it a little bit. So
Yeah.
if it, I feel like if it had been edited, if it was slightly less clunky, if some of the wording or language choice had been changed slightly, it would have been better for me. But yeah, I mean it's a fun read. It's obviously not going to be like in my top 10, but I don't regret reading it.
I might.
Yeah, and
We know.
and I think and it's not that long.
No.
Like, I don't know how many physical pages it is, but like you said, it's 40,000 words. I've read this for the second time on a plane, and I think I read it in like an hour and a half or 2 hours. Like, you can read it like really in an evening if you have dedicated time, or within like a couple days.
Yeah.
So it's, if you just want something short that's Christmassy but super smutty, then
Mhm.
I think it's a good try. If someone's referring to themselves as Santa in the third person while you're dressed up as a Christmas tree is going to put you off, maybe don't go for it.
Maybe it's not
I
the
don't know if
one
I
for
should ever
you.
read. I don't know if I should
Yeah.
ever read one of Crimson's recommendations ever again because I have been traumatized. Although the first one though wasn't even a recommendation, that was just something we saw. Sackton's like, this is something we
No.
saw and we were like, let's read that. And for some reason, the one person in the group who doesn't like smut or dark romance was the guinea pig for this.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, knowing what I know about that read now, I would never have wrecked that to
Yeah.
you. I like don't wreck. Even if I end up liking it, I never wreck things that are that dark unless I know somebody loves dark stuff.
This is the thing, is like it might not be that dark though. This is why I need you both to read it. I need to know whether
No,
it's just me.
I know one of the things that happens, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty dark.
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out.
I
Not
will
much.
let
Yeah,
you know.
like,
Yeah, please
Because
do.
you know that I'm not like a big dark romance girly either. So I feel like I'd be a good
Molly will come back and
judge.
be like, Ali,
yeah.
this was fine. This is like a step up from vanilla. Like,
Now
what is
I
wrong with
feel
you?
like I'll
So,
probably come back and be
Molly,
like, it's fucking awful.
yeah, my understanding, Molly, is that it's maybe not quite as dark as like a haunting or a hunting Adeline, but it is more like, certainly more dark than like like Devil's Night or things like that.
All
So like
right, yeah.
it's in there. There's some things going on that I think would make like a lot of people uncomfortable. So
I was very uncomfortable. I finished it.
yeah.
I was like, this is so short. Like, this is counting towards my end of year goal. Whether I like it or not, I'm finishing this book. And I thought,
Right.
oh, maybe there'll be a happy ending.
I mean, is it technically happily ever after or not really?
Um,
She doesn't know.
I don't know because I'm not sure.
Do the two main characters end up together? Like, are they like in love at the end of the book?
See, this is the thing. It's like this is like she is just batshit needs to go in the asylum because
Yeah.
she the whole time she's like, oh, he's killed all of these people. I'm horny
Yeah.
for him. And then she's like running away from him at the start. She's like running away, running away, running away, and then they like have sex, whatever. But it's like all it's like borderline creepy.
Yeah,
But
would
she's kind of
she?
like, I'm enjoying this, but I don't like that I'm enjoying this, and that's like the theme throughout. And there's bits where she like cries, and then he like, but he puts her in this situation, and she cries about it the whole way, and then he like, as per usual, as the theme, murders somebody, and then she's like, "You saved me!" Like he didn't put you in this position to begin with.
Right, right. Um, but at the end of the book, is it assumed that they're gonna like
I
be
don't know.
together?
I can't remember. I've blocked it out. I actually want to say no because the last scene is I don't really know. I'm scared to look. I can't remember.
I'll let you know.
Don't look. It's okay. I'm gonna read it anyway.
We'll read and
Yeah.
get back to you on that.
Molly,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
probably read this tonight and tell us. Like it's really short. I read it within like an hour.
Oh yeah, then yeah, I'll read it probably tomorrow then. Okay.
I'll get to it at some point. It's fine.
The next Christmas app in 2025, Molly will be like, "Yeah, so I read that book that Ali was traumatized by."
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate, to be fair.
Meanwhile, the current Christmas book that I'm reading, and for anyone who's not watching this and is listening, is The Gingerbread Christmas Village.
Aww.
Aww.
Cute. Cute,
That's
cute.
adorable. I am reading a Holly Jolly Ever After, and I am having the best time with this series. I can't believe I didn't read it sooner. Like, I'm like giggling and kicking my legs, like kicking my little feet, and like just having the best time with them. I love them.
What did you say they were?
A Holly Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Sierra Stallone is the second one to A Very Merry Meet Cute.
I
Ah.
loved a frame that one. The first
Yeah.
one. God,
The second one is Callum, his book with
Ooh,
I know.
how did you I meant to ask you by the way, how did you like A Merry Little Meet Cute?
So fucking cute. I loved it. It was so good.
Did you Crimson, are you planning on reading this at any point?
Yeah, it's on my Christmas list this year.
Okay.
So the plan is to read Love Light Farms next, and then probably A Merry Little Meet Cute after that. And I would really like to get in a reread of Window Shopping before we get to Christmas
Without
because that's my favorite.
without spoiling it, Molly, what did you think of the bit with the name? Do you know what I mean?
When it's revealed.
When he does it by accident and then she knows that yeah.
Do you know what? I've read so many books where, you know, it would have been dealt with so poorly by the FMC, but I was so glad that it didn't get escalated
Do
into
that, yeah.
something huge.
Yeah.
And I was just like, ooh, like she's gonna know, and he's revealed. Oh, yeah, no, it was great.
It's like I could just like imagine him being like, what have I done? I've just given it all away. Yeah.
There's a very similar moment. I haven't finished it yet. I think I'm like a third of the way through. There's a very similar moment in book 2 between the FMC and Callum where it's reversed. So she is doing something and he finds out and he's like, oh. I'm just like living for it. And I love how I'm assuming each of the books starts with Teddy's POV, and he's like giving like an update on like what's going on with his like friends and family, and I was just like, this is so cute. I love it. I'm like living for this. Like, because
It's cute.
I read the novella between Luca and Angel first. I read that last year, and I was like, oh, I'll read this like this year. I never got around to it, so I'm finally getting to it, and I'm just like having the best time. Like,
It is such a good little time.
I'm pretty sure I'll probably finish the series by like Wednesday. Easy.
I feel a wee bit like that with Love Light Farms. I am having a really good time. I read the first one in like a day and a half, and it's just such a good time. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm really excited for Crimson to like shift into gear and like pick it up because it's really sweet.
It's on mine too.
Really excited.
Hurry up, guys.
I'm gonna read it at the end of the week, I promise.
As usual, I am ahead.
What's new?
Oh dear.
Yeah, just like speeding on past us. So with Love Light Farms though, do you know if the others in the series are also around Christmas, or are they different?
It's each a different season. Okay. So Love Light Farms is winter.
They're to do with the characters in Love Light Farms, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
but each one is set in like a different season, kind of like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, how each of them has like a different season. So does Love Light Farms.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to figure out how to fit that. I'm planning to like be a little more intentional with my TBR next year, so maybe I can fit one in for each season instead of like reading them all at once.
That could be cute. Anyway, I think that we should play a game.
I think a game is a good idea, like a nice little thing to wrap it up.
I think that would be nice. So let's play a game and then let's talk about what we're going to read upcoming. So what I thought we would do is I would like to know who is on your naughty and nice lists for Christmas this year. So we're talking book characters. Do you know what? Like, if you wanted to extend it to books, authors, like, that's fine. But my idea was book characters. So Crimson, I'm going to start with you. Who is on your naughty or nice list this year?
Okay, so starting with the naughty list, with the people that might get a visit from Krampus this year, I would say the number one, because she was the first one to go on it this year, would be Bryce.
Yep.
I really listen. Looking back on House of Flame and Shadow, I still think it's a fantastic book, but I do not have any understanding of what SJM did with her character in that book. I felt she just was operating way outside of like the growth I thought we had seen in House of Sky and Breath. And she made a lot of decisions that, like, while of course everything worked out, it felt like it worked out because of plot armor and because of just like the plot plotting, and not because of her decisions. Like, her decisions all felt really stupid to me, really short-sighted and really selfish. And I just really didn't enjoy that. So she's on the naughty list. The next one is Rune, because he made me mad at the end of House of Sky and Breath, and then he made me mad in the beginning of House of Flame and Shadow. And then, like, he and the person that this had to deal with, like, they reconciled, but they never really talked about it, like, in depth.
There was apology there.
Yeah, and I feel like this is becoming a theme in SJM books that I don't really appreciate, is that a lot of times, I mean, we see it with Adian and Lysandra, we see it with Nesta and the whole world, we see, like, it's just like, the apologies are so small for the insane impact that these characters have on people. And I don't love that.
Yeah.
The next two really are just, it's Kale. I hate him so much. He didn't do anything this year. I read Tower of Dawn in 2023. He will always be on my shit list. I just don't love him.
Permanent place on the naughty list.
In a similar vein, we have Dane. Again, I'm only halfway through Fourth Wing, but he just is on my nerves,
Valid.
man. There's something about a really overprotective friend or significant other that I just really do not vibe with. It's like, I don't care that it's out of love. Like, stop trying to convince Violet to run away. I'm sick of it. So I'm over that. And then of course Jack Barlow, because he sucks.
Trash.
I don't think that needs, I think if you've read the first 2 chapters, like you don't really need more explanation. And then the last 2 are Richard from If We Were Villains. This is a guy, I don't know if you guys have read this book.
Not yet.
But yeah, so I read this in May of this year, and he is he's actually the victim in the beginning of the book, but he is just a horrible person. I just really didn't like him, and we never really get any justification for his motivations. He's just all around like a shitty person. So I don't like that guy. And also fanfic Ron Weasley specifically, because he's been a bit of an asshat in a lot of the fics that I've read this year.
Valid. Agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Getting to the nice list, Lachlan and Lark from Leather and Lark. I just loved this couple. I ate them up. I thought they were like so cute, and the way that they like appreciated each other's personalities by the end of that book was really great. Lachlan especially, you know, he is very like, he sees everything that she's doing and she's kind of overworked, and it was really cool to see that represented in a book, I think. Also, I'm not going to say all the reasons why because I don't want to spoil anyone, but Lydia Servos is on my nice list. I love that woman.
I do too.
She's great. She's basically my new Manon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm obsessed with her. Yeah. Resand, because he is always on the nice list. He's my favorite. He can do no wrong. Similarly, Draco Malfoy can do no wrong. Fanfic Draco, of course. And also Hermione, because she's probably my favorite FMC of all time. I just love her. And also from Fanfic Theo and Blaze. Fanfic Theo and Fanfic Blaze are the most fun. They add so much to every fic. I love that they are basically OCs that are like woven into the community so much that they are so well written every time. Like that you're in a good fic.
It's fanon, and they are a staple. Like,
yeah, it's like I just read a really good fic, Meet Me at Midnight, which has actually an original character in it. And the whole time I was like, this guy should be Blaze, like, because it's just not grounded enough. And he was an okay character, but I wanted there to be, I don't know. But he is a really well written, but it's just interesting how Theo and Blaze, even when they're not doing much, like they have so much fanon behind them now that they have these like really clear personalities. And I just love that.
Amazing.
Yeah. So what about you, Molly? Who's on your list?
So, like you, Crimson, I have characters from books that I read before this year. But also books that I read this year. So the first one is one that I read originally a while ago, but she will also always probably be on my shit list, and that is Aelin. Yeah, Aelin and Bryce, because I feel like they are both cut from the same cloth. They are 2 sides of the same coin. They are very similar in terms of their character, which we'll get into more when we, you know, do deep dives into the books, but they frustrate me beyond all belief, like beyond rationality. They are so stupid and inconsiderate of everybody that they say that they love and want to protect, and it drives me up fucking wall. Okay, so Aelin and Bryce, I'm not an Aelin girl, I'm not a Bryce girl. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate them, I don't love their characters, but they do piss me off, so they will be on the naughty list forever. The next one is Apollo, from Once Upon a Broken Heart, the trilogy, by Stephanie Garber. He is an ass. You read the books, and they do feature some chapters with his perspective, and even his justification for his actions just makes me want to punch him in the face if he was an actual person. So Yeah, no. He is on my naughty list. Definitely not. As is Dane and Jack from Fourth Wing. I feel like they're universally hated characters. If I ever meet a girl or like a guy, a book girly or a book guy that love these characters, immediate red flag. Like, what is wrong with you?
I've seen someone say they like Dane on socials.
Get in the bin. And then
Yeah.
and then the last one is kind of polarizing. So they are actually on both my naughty list and my nice list. So
Ooh.
yes.
Oh.
Okay. So
I see.
Jax from Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I'd probably say naughty list mostly for Caraval, but also somewhat in Once Upon a Broken Heart, but then he redeems himself. So he is also on my nice list, but we don't forget people's shitty actions just because they have changed, okay? We always have to remember that things aren't forgotten. They may be forgiven, but they're not forgotten. So he is the last one on my naughty list. So going on to my nice list, my Lord and Saviour, the man that can do no wrong, that has a special place in my heart and over my heart, quite literally, is Severus Snape. Fanfic Snape, book Snape, movie Snape,
Yes.
whatever form, I will take that man. He can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, love him. It's a lifelong kind of love. Okay. Second character. Oh, yeah.
Can I interject for 1 second?
You may.
Which is, I have finally gotten my husband to start watching the Harry Potter movies with me.
Yay!
Ah, finally.
So we've watched the first 2.
Mhm.
And what has been striking me that I haven't really thought about, because I haven't done a full rewatch in a while, because I've actually been thinking about it, rewatching it, because I know we're going to talk about it, is Snape is the only teacher kind of acting like a real teacher in the first 2 films.
Yeah.
He is the only one who actually seems concerned at all about these teenagers doing really dangerous, crazy things and being out of bed and all the. It's just him.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting. So I think I might do my reread this year to see how that actually kind of holds up, because as I'm watching it, I'm kind of he's the most adult out of all these adults, except for kind of McGonagall, but she just isn't super clued in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway,
no, it just got me thinking about him. So next on my list, as she is on yours, is Lydia Servos. She could punch me in the face and I'd thank her. I love her.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong love as well.
Step on my neck, please.
I love her.
Yeah.
Obsessed with everything she does. Similarly, Rhysand forever.
Rice?
Rice. Rhysand forever. I love him. And then I was going down the spiel of what other ACOTAR characters am I forever obsessed with, and Cassian. Cassian is our favourite himbo. We love him. Yeah. And then new characters to me. Amelia and Wrath from A Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco. I don't know why, but as I think I said a couple of episodes ago, I only read A Kingdom of the Wicked this year for the first time. I don't know why I waited so long, but I'm glad that I did, because I got to binge them and enjoy them all in a row. So highly recommend. Love them. They're immaculate. I've already mentioned Jax. He is also on my nice list, especially for his character arc going into the second and third book of the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. So highly recommend. Misery and Low from Bride. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yep. Luke from Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I don't know whether it's because he is essentially Luke from Gilmore Girls, but at the same time, both are valid. So Yeah.
You just sold me on that book more than anyone ever has.
He
Okay.
is Luke if he was a farmer.
It's really good. Yeah, you
Yeah.
should pick that up.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my last one is Cade Eaton, because I read all of Elsie Silver this year, and that man is stuck in the forefront of my mind. And he is also very Luke Danes like coded. So clearly I was on a pattern this year. But those are my lists.
All right.
Emmy, how about you?
Yeah, so again, mine are like, some of mine are comfort characters, some of mine are characters I've met this year for the first time and love. So on my naughty list this year, we have good old Dan.
Boo.
And Dan's fun cousin, the overprotective Tamlin.
Aw,
Yeah.
Tamlin.
I forgot he
Yeah.
Please don't make
existed.
me read his
You know,
redemption.
like
What redemption?
with Tamlin, it's like he was overprotective out of like almost like out of fear as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dane was very like, the issue I have, and one of the biggest issues I have with Dane, is that he is a year ahead of her. He has all of these skills that he could share. He knows her inside out.
doesn't.
He could help her adapt in her own way to the surroundings with his knowledge of her and his knowledge of their surroundings. And he doesn't. He
Yeah.
spends the whole time complaining and trying to get her to leave and run away and give up. And if he knows her from being a child, he should know that she's not going to do that.
Yeah. Also, I just got past threshing. Like I'm not very far past that, and which happens so much later in the books than I expected, actually. But I noticed like immediately that there's a character who doesn't like Violet very much in the beginning, and then once she's past threshing, they are immediately like, "I'm gonna help you like learn how to fight and stuff."
Yeah, I
so you
love
get more
her, by the
practice.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, instantly, I was like, why didn't Dane do that?
Exactly.
Like, I was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
annoyed with
And then he has the audacity to complain about the fact that she's doing it.
Yes. Yes.
He's like, she's only doing it because so and so told her to do it. And I was like, well, at least so and so is looking out for Violet.
They give a damn,
yeah,
you know?
because all the time that you're sitting here, like trying to protect her and get her to leave, which you know she's not going to anyway, like you're just wasting time that you could be using to help prep her. Like, even Violet's sister in the and this is not a spoiler because it's like the first chapter, but like even Violet's sister in the like 30 minutes they have together between her knowing that this is going to happen and like Violet having to go, she spends all of that time giving her every amount of information that she can. It's like, why would you not just help her? Like, he could have been such a valuable resource, and he doesn't, like, tell her anything.
I think the thing that annoys me most about him, you mentioned that you hated him because he was, like, so possessive. It's not the fact that he's possessive for me, it's the fact that he's possessive when he has absolutely no fucking business to be possessive.
Exactly.
There's like friendly
actually...
concern, and then there's like what he's up to.
Yeah.
I love possessive-ness in an MMC. I just don't love when that possessiveness is attempting to take away their agency.
There's a bit, Crimson, you won't have gotten to this bit yet. If you're just at threshing, you won't be here yet. So I'll try not to spoil it, but there's this incident that happens, and as it does in every romance book, the love interest comes to the rescue, as he does multiple times throughout the next couple of books. There's this incident that happens shortly after threshing. Well, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then the love interest, he decides to like almost like fight her corner, so he like gathers everyone at their like little formation thing, and there's this whole thing that goes down with him calling out the problem, and Dane's first reaction is to call her a liar. And I can't go into why, but he's a stickler for the rules, and he thinks that because of the rules, her issue couldn't have happened. It was giving like this guy didn't sexually harass you because like he's my friend. It's like the same. That's not what happens, but it's like the similar vibes to like he called her a liar, and she's like, "You're supposed to be my best friend." What's
I
happening?
can't wait for you to get to that point, Crimson, because you're gonna.
Yeah, no, me neither. Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am planning on like doing some fourth wing this week, because if I do fourth wing this week, I think I can get through Iron Flame before Onyx Storm comes out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the idea.
But yeah, other than good old Dane Tamlin, and then Jack's on there too, has to always get a mention. Kale's also on there.
Yep.
I just stuck him on there because he annoys me more than anything else. Like, he's just a bit irritating.
Yep.
I saw the funniest meme. Have you guys seen that TikTok meme of like, I think it's like, is it one of the Muppets or something?
Is that the one you sent me?
Is that yeah, and it's like Kale falling for the assassin because she's cute and nice, and then it's like Kale when the assassin assassinates people. It's like,
yes,
yeah, love
yes. It's all bug-eyed
yeah.
and just like shot. Yeah.
So that killed me. Violet's on my list.
Oh,
What a little whiny bitch.
Wow. Okay.
You'll understand when you get to Iron Flame. She just whines too
Yeah.
much and it stresses me out.
That's fair.
Then I have Ransom from The Dagger and the Flame, mainly because of the ending, because he just anyone who's read it will know. I'm not very happy with that man right now.
All right.
And for the same reason, you guys, I don't think you've read this, and I have not been shutting up about this book, so you have to pick this up. Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder.
I will.
Have you read it yet?
Not yet.
You need to pick this up.
I will in the new year.
Main character Jovi, I'm not too happy with her. For the ending, I actually made my friend Abby, shout out to Abby because she'll probably listen to this. I made my friend Abby read Metal Slinger, and she was like, "What's happening? I'm kind of confused, whatever." And I was like, "Just keep reading. Like, it's not like groundbreaking, like amazing world building, but it's really good. It's a really interesting thing." And there's something that happens at the end that you will not see coming. And I will tell you this now, there is no foreshadowing to this whatsoever. And everyone just goes, "What?" Like, I was screaming. I screeched and woke Alex up at like 12, 1 in the morning. He was like having a nap or something, and I was like, ah. So I'm not very happy with her. Which you'll see when you read it. But if you don't add it to your immediate list, I'll be very angry because I need someone to talk about. Plus, it's also like it's starting to pick up. Like, it's not like a really well-known crazy book. It's not like Quicksilver that just like immediately like boom, like everyone started reading it. This is like one that like it deserves more recognition and hasn't been. And it's just like, it's actually one of my top reads of this year. It might be my favorite read of this year.
Okay.
So other than Jovi then, so she's the last one on my naughty list. Then we have my nice list. And this is so funny considering Molly's naughty list. My first on the nice list is Aelin. Not because of her as a person, just because she's a comfort character for me. And during some little sad time. So I will never not say this, but my favorite book from that whole series, I've got two, Air of Fire, but Throne of Glass is one of my favorite books that you could read as a standalone, perhaps, if you don't want to continue the rest of the story. And it's a comfort book for me, and I do read it. Sometimes I read just Throne of Glass, like just that book, if I'm feeling sad. So she's for being my comfort character. Similar to Molly again, I read pretty much all of Elsie Silver's books this year, and Harvey Eaton. Daddy Eaton is on my list because I would die for that man.
He's just everything that is good in this world.
I know that the romance books are about his kids, but I think we need a moment for Harvey Eaton because
his chapters pop off.
He's the dad.
He's the dad in Elsie Silver's Chestnut Springs series.
Oh, okay.
So you've obviously the books are about like Cade and the Beau and the other ones, and he's like their dad. So he
I'm on
doesn't
this
get a
page now,
book, but yeah, I love him.
He does have
Um,
like bonus chapters that are on her website.
I need to get
Yeah, you
into
do.
those. I do. Then we've got Fleetfoot.
The dog.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
What a
Fleetfoot is
wholesome,
precious.
happy baby.
Amazing.
Then I've got Arthi or Artie from A Tempest of Tea. She's really cool. If you haven't read it, you should read that. Kaz from The Spell Shop. Kaz is a sentient spider plant, and it was because a witch's spell, she spelled him and she shouldn't have, and she got like turned into a statue or something like for punishment, but he was allowed to live as his own free will, and he's so cute, and he's such a wee nervous being, and I just love him. He's just so wholesome.
Aww.
Frederick from My Roommate's Vampire.
Yes.
That man definitely goes on the nice
Yes.
list.
Because I'm just like,
love him.
oh, he's so cute. Do you make sauce? And I'm like,
yes.
a saucepan
you
is
make
for
sauce?
more things, honey bun. Yeah,
I love him. He's so wholesome.
so
I'm so
cute.
glad that you two liked it so much.
It's
I
fruit.
love it.
I'm so
right?
excited for the next one. I have the
So
what's the other
good.
one? My Vampire Plus One. I've
My
got it on
Vampire
myself.
So good.
Mine's right here.
Yeah, mine's
love,
up
I
there.
love Reggie. I love Reggie, and I'm so excited for you guys to read it.
He seems so fun.
There's a cabin
I
scene,
can't wait
and
to get more insight.
Yeah,
I'm
Amazing.
excited.
Yeah.
And then the last person I've got on my list then is Luther. This is another series that you guys will not have read. I am in the Kindle Unlimited vibe at the moment.
I can tell.
Spark of the
Yeah.
Everflame. Spark of the Everflame. Have you guys got
I've
on your
heard
list?
of
If
it.
not,
Yeah.
stick it on your list. There's 3 out at the moment. They've actually just been traditionally published.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for her. But Spark of the Everflame's amazing, amazing, amazing. The first book's kind of like slowish, but it really, really picks up in the second and third books. And I really need the fourth one. And the fourth one was actually supposed to come out, I'm pretty sure, in like autumn this year. But because of the books being like traditionally published and everything, it's had to be put back. And we don't have a release date yet. And I'm angry about it.
Oh,
But Luther is he's a good man. We like him. He would die for the FMC. He might be my new book boyfriend, I won't lie.
immaculate vibes. I love that.
He might be pushing Xaden out of his top spot.
No way.
Whoa.
That's like
Yeah,
insane
I love
for you.
Okay.
I know. So yeah. But that's kind of it. That's my list. So there we are.
I had a thought.
Sure.
There was someone that was not on any of our naughty lists, but I'm actually very surprised that none of us thought to put them there.
Right?
And that is Bella Swan. I think she goes on the naughty list because she's unhinged and completely crazy.
Yeah.
I just don't think I think about her enough to put her on a list. If I was
not
going to
like
put one
other
of the
girls.
Twilight characters on the list, I would put Edward on the naughty list because he gives me the ick.
Oh yeah, you're not an Edward girly. I forgot.
I
Are you a Jacob girl?
No, this is the
Gross.
thing. I'm an Edward in
Oh.
the movies girly.
Yeah.
Carlisle.
Book
Well, Robert
Edwards-
Pattinson, like who
Book
wouldn't
Edward
be?
makes me feel a wee bit sick. Like,
Carlisle. I'm a Carlisle girly
Okay,
forever. So
By the way, we have to get into our Midnight Sun
We
read because
do.
I can't wait to see your reaction to Midnight
she's
Sun.
gonna
Like, I
scream.
cannot
Me?
wait.
She's gonna you're gonna lose your absolute ever loving mind, and I cannot wait.
Because his brain is like, I mean, I
Repressed.
I love it in there. It's hilarious.
Repressed Victorian child, like 100%.
Ugh, yes. Like, actually,
Okay.
it's so interesting because as problematic as she is and as unhinged as Stephanie Meyer is, she wrote the hell out of Edward. Like, she
Mate.
really did.
Yeah, no, it was that book. It was
mean-
worth the wait. It was worth the wait.
I think it's like a masterpiece,
is.
to be honest.
It's
like,
Midnight
just the
Sun.
crazy...
Is that Twilight, but from his perspective, not
Yes.
hers?
Yes. It's every single thing that happens in Twilight from his perspective.
But there's also
Okay.
like flashbacks, and
But there's more, of course.
like
Yeah.
yeah, things that you didn't get to see.
I mean,
it's great.
And there's things that you never even know happened because they're happening like off page and he never tells Bella about them. And it's just like, it's amazing. And every annoyed thought I've ever had about Bella Swan, Edward also has about Bella Swan. He's just also
in love with her. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. This man is like counting crickets while they're in the meadow. Like, it's crazy. It's so unhinged.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like,
right. Okay. Just
Well,
wait,
I'll let
babe.
you guys know.
Just wait.
Just wait.
I'll let you guys know how I find that. Okay, well, that was really interesting. I very much enjoyed hearing who was on your naughty or nice list this year. So, do you know what? It's actually crazy that next week is Christmas, and then we've only got sort of one more episode, and that'll be our wrap up. So we will see everybody in our end of year wrap up. A little drinky drink is not necessary, but definitely
Highly
recommended.
encouraged. Yep.
Exactly. So as per usual, if you're having a wee look for us, we are on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts under Fic Fiction. And if you have a wee look down below, we'll also have our beacon, which has all of our personal social medias, YouTubes, TikToks, Instagrams, etc. And we would love to have you over on the Instagram. We do lots of fun things over there. And I'm sure that with me now changing my name, I'm about to have a rebirth on the Instagram if you'd like to come and join. So that'll be lots of fun. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.